And it's gone out towards the man underneath it. That's a brilliant catch.
It's up in the air, he's getting under it. This could be victory. It is. Pakistan win the World Cup. Imran Khan has led his side to victory. What a great victory.
It's been a team effort. The entire squad, the physio, the doctors, they're all out on the field now. And they're loving every moment of this. Imran Khan, his 5th World Cup, his 5th attempt to win the trophy. And he's finally done it.
25 years ago, Pakistan's cornered Tigers defied all expectations to be crowned world champions with victory against England in the 1992 World Cup final. A quarter of a century later, Pakistan remain as mercurial and England are once again the favourites. Hello and welcome to League of Champions on World is One News. My name is Yash Shah. It's the undefeated against the unpredictable as the teams meet for the first time in a knockout match at an ICC event since that night of 25th March 1992. Chris Harris is another man who has fond memories from that summer down under in 92. Chris, the build-up to this match points to history repeating itself, but then that's not the way cricket matches are decided, are they?
No, it's amazing that was the last time they met back in 1992, because I was very much part of, I guess, the resurgence of Pakistan cricket, because if some remember, New Zealand played them in that 1992 side. I have a feeling that's a slightly different Pakistan side to this current one. They had obviously Wasim Akram, Aqib Javed, and some great bowlers, Imran Khan himself, and also some great batters. So although Pakistan went into that final as underdogs against England, I still don't think they were as big underdogs as they are today.
All right, so that was back then, but of course it's all about the present. Let's quickly take you through what we are building up to. The knockout rounds of cricket's biggest event of the year get underway in just about half an hour from now. England take on Pakistan in semi-final 1 of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017 in Cardiff. Eoin Morgan's men have so far kept up to their pre-tournament billing of favourites by winning all 3 of their group stage matches with ease. They now go up against an unpredictable Pakistan outfit which has defied all expectations to enter the last 4 despite being the bottom-ranked side in the competition. The news from Sapphire Gardens is that Pakistan have won the toss and they have elected to bowl first. Chris, throughout the build-up in this game, of course, England are a scary batting outfit. Pakistan winning the toss and bowling first, is that their best shot at victory today?
Yeah, I think I've said that in previous shows. The best chance for Pakistan, because we've seen what their batters are capable of, and it hasn't been quite as much, or their capabilities haven't been quite as good as some of the other teams. So they had to bowl first, and they've got to try and keep England under around that 250, because I think that's what they're capable of. If England score more than 250, I think Pakistan are going to find it very, very difficult. So it was the right decision to win the toss and bowl first.
And when England come out to bat, there will be a change right at the top of the order. Jason Roy has had a difficult tournament despite the backing of his captain. They've finally given way, and Johnny Bairstow comes in to play his first game of the tournament. He's expected to open.
I think it's a good move. Roy's obviously struggled through this tournament, and he's the only one of the English batsmen that has struggled. So I think it's a good move to make a change there, because it might get them off to an even better start. I think from Pakistan's point of view, though, what they've got to remember and keep in the back of their minds, that this has been a tournament of lots of upsets, lots of underdogs winning games, and Pakistan going to this game as an underdog have got to keep that in their memory. It's a semi-final, it's a big stage, anything can happen.
And I can tell you they are probably just becoming greater underdogs, because there is a shock news coming in from the toss. Mohammad Amir is missing out in this game. He's replaced by Rice. That's a big blow to Pakistan.
That's a huge blow. He hasn't picked up a lot of wickets, but he's so accurate at the top in the first 10 overs, and he's also very good at the death. And he's someone that Safraz has relied on to come through in those middle overs and try and pick up wickets. He did that in the last game, so that is going to be a big miss. So that also could be a telling point for Pakistan.
So possibly telling blow to Pakistan's hopes in this semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. Let's quickly listen in to what both camps had to say ahead of the game.
I'm very encouraged by the way we've played so far. Part of playing the way we have before we came into the tournament was obviously trying to produce it in what is a very tough tournament, and tournament you need to start really well in. And I think we've started brilliantly. So I hope we've not played our best cricket yet. I hope we play tomorrow and hopefully get through, but firmly focused on tomorrow.
I don't want us to be unpredictable. As a head coach, you want the team to have structure. You want the consistency levels to be good. Unpredictability as a coaching staff we don't like. We'd like us to do the basics a hell of a lot better, day in and day out, and that's what we train for every day. So we're getting better. We're making strides in that area. So hopefully, as I said, if we can put our best game forward tomorrow and do the basics really well, we give ourselves a chance.
Unpredictability. It's perhaps the only predictable in this Pakistan side whenever they are at any ICC event. Chris, that unpredictability, of course, as we just mentioned, becomes even bigger with Mohammad Amir missing. But in general, you hear the coach's voice, Mickey Arthur. I think about half the questions he was asked in the pre-match press conference was to do with the unpredictability of this team. And while it has been a forte of Pakistan cricket for many decades, it isn't a tag anyone wants to carry.
No, you don't want to carry it, but also sometimes it can work in your favour, because if you are unpredictable and you turn up and you've had a poor tournament, all of a sudden you turn up and you're at your best, obviously it can catch the opposition off guard. I like what he talked about there. They're trying to make Pakistan cricket more consistent, and I know with Mickey Arthur and Steve Rickson involved in the coaching structures there, they'll be working very, very hard. So they need that consistency today to get it right. And they'll be looking for early wickets, a little bit like what Australia did against England. They've got to get 3 early wickets, get the likes of Morgan and Stokes in, because those 2 particular players will come out, be aggressive, and if you can bowl in good areas, you know that you get an opportunity because they're going to go after the bowling. And that, for me, is Pakistan's biggest opportunity to set themselves up to try and win this game.
And in particular so, because if you look at Pakistan's record, both at this tournament and in the recent past, in this tournament so far, be it due to rain or lower targets, they haven't yet touched 250 as a batting side. And in general, if you look at the last 2 years against top 8 sides, they've only once successfully chased a score over 250. So it's absolutely vital that they restrict this power-packed English batting lineup.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier, they've got to try and restrict them to 250 or less. They've had a disappointing tournament, the Pakistan batsmen. I think the top run scorer is Azhar Ali with 93 runs and not a particularly good strike rate. And then you've got, so no batsman in 3 innings has got over 100 runs. So it just shows their batsmen aren't really in form. They are capable of chasing down a total, but it can't be a big total. And the problem that they have is England on 3 occasions would have gone past 300. They went past 300 twice, and in the game against Australia they had 240 for 4 with 10 overs left. So they were once again in a position where they're going to go past 300. If they bat like they have in this tournament, they're going to bat Pakistan out of the game. So it's Pakistan's job to make sure they knock over England for 250 or less.
Right, you brought up England and their penchant for scoring 300 plus scores. They've topped 323 times in 46 innings, I suppose, since the end of the 2015 World Cup. And that was obviously a question that came up to the captain Eoin Morgan when he spoke ahead of the game yesterday. Let's listen in to what he had to say about England's approach.
I think it's been reassuring that we've got to the semi-final by playing in our own way, and the game here against New Zealand wasn't exactly crash bang wallop. Looking back on it, we did probably get to a par score and felt as if we fell short, and beating a strong side like New Zealand with a par score is a huge strength. So I think part of playing positive cricket, we've adapted well and played a lot smarter cricket in this tournament.
23 scores of above 300 in 46 matches since a shock group stage exit at the 2015 World Cup. Chris Harris, it's needless to say this is the scariest looking batting side in world cricket right now, and those numbers on your screen tell you just why.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're capable of scoring 300. All of their batters score over virtually a strike rate of 100, and some of the guys towards the end, like the Joss Butlers, 126. So there's no one under 92, and that's phenomenal when you consider, you know, at the top of the order, sometimes if they lose an early wicket, which they have in this tournament, because Roy's been out of form. So that's made these scores even more impressive, because they haven't really ever got off to a great start, except obviously when Root comes in, and he's a terrific player as well. So terrific strike rates, and it shows how difficult they are to restrict.
Is that shakiness at the top of the order something that they will hope Johnny Bairstow corrects? He is, of course, if you look just in terms of gameplay, a more technically compact batsman. He's someone who really thrives at the test level. So is that a move in the right direction, keeping in mind that they don't want to lose those early wickets?
Yeah, I think they had to do something. Obviously, Roy struggled throughout this tournament, lacks a bit of confidence, so It was a good move to take him out. The tough thing on Bairstow, obviously, he's got to come in his first game in the tournament, opening the batting, and it's a crunch game, a semi-final. So he'll be feeling all sorts of nervousness, pressure, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. And it's up to the Pakistan bowlers to make sure they put him under pressure and don't give him any easy runs, make it really difficult for him to score, and that will obviously build up pressure as well.
And those Pakistan bowlers also have the nervousness of knowing that this is a side which, even when they lose 3 early wickets as they did against Australia, still have the same line of attack throughout the batting order. They lose 3 wickets early on, Morgan comes in, he can biff. Ben Stokes, he can hit the ball, and Jos Buttler and Moeen Ali down the order too continue scoring at almost the same rate.
Yeah, exactly. And these guys have a different plan to India. We know India like to keep wickets intact in those first 10 overs. England's plan very much is to create a strike rate in those first 10 overs. They see that as a big scoring opportunity. So they do take more risks. They try and go at 6 or 7 and over. So therein lies Pakistan's opportunity to get amongst the wickets. If they can bowl well in good channels and there's a little bit of swing and a little bit of assistance, they've got an opportunity to get some quick wickets. And that's what Pakistan have to do. If they don't get quick wickets in this game, they're going to be batted out of it.
So since you have mentioned Pakistan bowlers, we will take a look at how the Pakistan bowlers have done so far in this tournament. There, of course, it can't be said enough how much of a blow it is to lose Mohammad Amir, but Hassan Ali has been mighty impressive.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He's come in at a very important stage in the match where the sides that they've been playing against have just started to get a little bit of a partnership, and what he's done is come in and not got 1 wicket, but quite often got 2, and he's broken the heart out of the opposition batting. So Safraz will be looking for Ali to do that again today. And obviously Khan's been very valuable. And outside of that, I mean, they're the 2 main wicket takers, then all their other main bowlers have only got 2 wickets or less. So they have lacked a little bit of penetration in their other bowlers, so that also could be quite telling today.
And in the absence of Mohammad Amir, of course, a lot of importance also to Junaid Khan. He's the strike bowler. He's done well. He didn't play against India, came into the tournament 5 wickets in 2 matches so far. And if they are to get those early strikes you're talking about, he holds key against the top order.
Yeah, he's absolutely key. He's got to lead this bowling because he's now probably one of the senior pros. And it not just puts pressure on him, but having Noah Mir, who's got great experience, great one-day bowler, it puts a lot of pressure on all the bowlers. So all the Pakistan bowlers today have to really step up, and they need to improve their fielding as well. We've seen some good fielding from them, but this needs to be one of the days where at their very best with ball and in the field.
So that's the Pakistan bowling. When we spoke about the English batsmen and how great their strike rates are, if you look at Pakistan's batting, it's not quite the same. All that has been helped a bit by a new entrant. Fakhar Zaman made his debut in this tournament in the 2nd game against South Africa, and he's had a great start to his career. The coach had great words to say about the youngster. Listen in.
It's a breath of fresh air when you see a young player come into the side and take the game on. And the good thing for us is the young players that have come into the side have all come in with a really good spirit. They've played well. You know, you look at Fakhar, you look at Fahim, Shadab to a point, Baba, you know, when he came in, Hassan Ali when he came in. So the young guys coming in have taken it to duck to water, which has been great. They've come in with a great attitude. They want to learn, they want to work hard, and we're getting some results out of them, which is fantastic news.
The words there from Mickey Arthur reflect the story of how much of a difference Fakhar Zaman has made to this Pakistan lineup. Chris, we're going to have the numbers. Yes, there they are. These are the Pakistan batsmen's strike rate at the Champions Trophy so far. You look at most of the numbers there, they are very 20th century.
Yeah, apart from the top 3, obviously these other numbers are disappointing. When you look at Ali, Azim, Hafiz, and I'm not sure, Malik's up there as well. I mean, that's the key of their middle order. And if they don't get off to a good start, these numbers just aren't good enough to perhaps post a strike rate or a total that's going to be good enough to chase down England. Saman, I think, has been a fantastic selection because he is so dangerous at the top of the order as a left-hander. He's a bit unorthodox, he likes to play his shots, hence the reason he strikes at 137. If he can get away in England, then perhaps they can chase more than 250. I hope they don't have to chase more than 250 because I think it'll be too much, but he's an absolute key. Shoaib Malik, good strike rate, but hasn't scored the amount of runs that he needs to as a senior member of the side. As I say, in all the big games, your senior players have to step up. And also Hafiz will be very disappointed with his tournament. Hasn't scored enough runs and only striking at 59. That's even before the 20th century.
And that's the concern, isn't it? Babar Azam is in fact one of the more promising batsmen in the Pakistan lineup. Only made his debut after the 2015 World Cup. And if you look at his career strike rate, he does strike at close to 90. But in this tournament, their middle order in particular, as you're talking about, has really struggled to get going.
Yeah, Azam he's an absolute key as well because he bats at 3. So if Pakistan get off to a good start, it's really important when he comes in that the momentum carries on. And it shows what he's done so far in this tournament, striking at 60, that he hasn't done that. And what happens when these number 3 and number 4 strike at 60 and 59, that puts pressure on everyone else coming in after them, and they've got to be more aggressive. Hence the reason that the Pakistan batters haven't done as well as they should have in this tournament.
Okay, so they haven't done as well as they should have in this tournament. We're done with the number crunching with Chris for now. We're going to head into a short break at the moment, but a reminder, we are building up to the first ICC Champions Trophy semi-final. It's England against Pakistan, with Pakistan bowling first at the Sapphire Gardens in Cardiff. When we return, it's over to Chris for the key battles which he thinks will decide this game. Welcome back. You're watching League of Champions here on World is One News. We're building up to the first semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. A riveting England-Pakistan battle is just minutes away, but there are quite a few battles within the battle, and it's time for Chris Harris to take us through them. Chris, this is the segment which belongs to you. Let's go.
Well, Alex Hale's obviously an absolute key at the top of the order for England, and England, as we know, are batting first. His job is to get out there, try and create a strike rate and try and score heavily in those first 10 overs. Obviously, I see an opportunity for Khan now being the senior member. Now that we know that Amir is out, he's got to come in and try and knock over Hales. How he's going to do that is bowl in good areas, give him no room. I hope Pakistan have a couple of slips. I hope they don't get too defensive because that will play into England's hands. So they need a couple of slips, bowls in good areas, just outside, off stump, just back of a length, and force Hales not to score quickly and hopefully force him into a false shot. And there's the first wicket.
There's the first wicket, and when that falls, you get England's best batsman, one of the best batsmen in world cricket these days, Joe Root, against Hassan Ali, who's clearly Pakistan's top performer in this tournament, as you mentioned. Yeah, well, probably one of the best batsmen for England, and in this tournament, certainly one of the best bowlers for Pakistan. So they're obviously got to go up against each other. Joe Root, an absolute key wicket for Pakistan. He's the sort of guy that will bat through the innings. He strikes at around 100, so if you don't get him out, that allows England even more so, with him at the other end, for the other stroke players to come in and to really play their shots and take advantage of knowing that they've got him at the other end because he will see them through. So he is the absolute most crucial wicket in this particular game. And I think Ali is the man to get him out because he's had a wonderful tournament. He's got the most wickets for Pakistan, he's got 7, so it's on his shoulders. Battle number 3 from the England innings, and I really feel for Imad Wasim here. Left-handed batsman, as you know better than anyone else, love facing left-arm spinners, and you feel Imad Wasim has his task cut out against Ben Stokes.
Yeah, I picked this battle not so much for Wasim necessarily to get Stokes out, although I know they'll be up against each other, but also it can work the other way in this situation. Stokes will love the left armour, and I think will go after him. So this is a key battle from both sides' point of view. Because I think Stokes will go after Wasim, I think it gives him an opportunity to get him out, but if he doesn't get him out, what we've seen from Ben Stokes this tournament is he could take Wasim apart, and this could be a key point in the match.
And if we could just stay on this one, Imad Wasim, I know, hasn't had a lot of chances to bat in this tournament, but he is one of Pakistan's death over batsmen. He's someone who bats at 7, has a fairly decent strike rate, so this battle could very well come up in the second innings too if the chase goes deep. Yeah, it could work both ways, and obviously he'll have a big job against Ben Stokes, who we know at the moment is probably one of the world's best all-rounders. His bowling generally is a little bit expensive, but he is a wicket taker, and he comes in and tries to take wicket-taking deliveries. So if you can avoid getting out to him, he does give you plenty of opportunities to score. So that's where Wasim, if he gets the opportunity later in the innings, he's got to take toll against Ben Stokes and put those bad balls away. That's when England bat. Let's take a look at what battles Chris has picked for Pakistan's reply. You have, I believe, Mark Wood against Fakhar Zaman. Well, Wood, obviously at the top of the innings, has been one of the pick of the opening bowlers for England at the top of the innings. And Zaman, we know, loves to go after anything that's loose, create a strike rate in those first 10. So this is going to be a brilliant battle in that second innings. Wood bowling very, very well. And Zaman, new to the Pakistan lineup, nothing to lose, loves to play freely. So it's going to be a brilliant battle. And what Wood has in his favour is the advantage of having knocked out another aggressive left-handed opening batsman in just the previous game. David Warner was beginning to look dangerous, a wee bit when he bowled perhaps one of the balls of the tournament.
Yeah, I think he's a difficult bowler, especially for a left-hander. He comes in, not a particularly long run-up, and he lopes in a little bit, but he bowls quite a fast delivery, 140 plus. He goes across the left-hander, exactly like you said, what he did to Warner, and nicked him off. So they're the areas he's got to bowl to this man, otherwise he's in big trouble.
And after Fakhar Zaman, one batsman, another young batsman who holds key to Pakistan's fortunes is Babar Azam. If he does manage to save the new ball spell, if he has to face one, you pit him up against Adil Rashid. That's quite an interesting battle there.
Yeah, well, I think it's important for Pakistan if they're chasing a reasonable total or even a big total. Babar's really got to step up. He hasn't played very well in this tournament so far. So I'm hoping that if he does get in, he'll get through that opening burst and then he'll come up against Rashid. He's a pretty good player of spin, and this just may be the confidence boost that he needs. But he needs to step up. He's striking, I think we saw earlier, at about 60%. That's not going to be good enough. So he needs to play really well today, get through to Rashid and see if he can take him on.
And battle number 3 in the Pakistan innings is a batsman who has really struggled, as you mentioned at the top of the show. Mohammad Hafiz really hasn't got his runs flowing. He's been pretty scratchy all through, and Liam Plunkett on the other hand is one of the top wicket takers in this tournament, 8 wickets so far.
Yeah, well, in big tournaments you need your big players to step up. Now Hafiz is one of the most experienced batsmen in the Pakistan one-day side, so today he really needs to step up. He's striking at 59 in this tournament. That's not good enough. He's a much better player than that. I've seen him get one-day hundreds. I've seen him take Pakistan through to winning games, and there's no bigger occasion. He really needs to step up today to give Pakistan a chance. I put Liam Plunkett against him because I think he's the leading wicket taker in the tournament, or one of them. He's got 8 wickets, so he's a real wicket-taking option. But a little bit like Ben Stokes, he bowls for wickets, so he gives you opportunities to score. And I think that's where the opportunity for Hafiz lies, to obviously try and get that strike rate up to try and take on Liam Plunkett.
And him being the senior statesman, Hafiz in the previous match had mentioned that he loves the fact that Pakistan are alluded to as the unpredictables. He'd be hoping that the unpredictability comes into his favour since he hasn't had the runs this tournament so far.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's helping Hafiz as well, just in the recent couple of games, he started bowling as well, and he's bowled very well. And as an all-rounder, if you're bowling well, it really does help your batting and take the pressure off. So hopefully that'll release a little bit of pressure for him, and he can come out and play his natural game, which I don't think we've seen this tournament, and I think it's key that he does.
So those are the key battles then, Chris, just minutes away from the start of this game. Of course, we mentioned history, we mentioned everything, all that goes aside now. A quick prediction about how you see this game going?
Well, England are hot favourites. I have to pick England because they've virtually scored 300 plus every time they've batted, except for that one against Australia. And Pakistan really haven't looked like scoring more than 250. And I know some of those were in run chases, but they were never in a position, and their batsmen just haven't been playing well enough. So unless there's a massive change in their attitude, I guess, for me it's England all the way.
At any stage, I know this is a very different England team, almost called New England by the way they've been playing for the last 2 years. But one bit that might be playing on their players' minds is the fact that they do not boast of a great record at ICC knockout games. I believe England have won 5 and lost 11 ICC knockouts that they've played in the history of the one-day game. Does that factor in at all with a young team which doesn't necessarily have the baggage associated with English cricket over the years?
I think it plays a big part, and I think what also plays a part, they won their games early, so they've been able to play with freedom, knowing they've qualified for the semi-final, but now all that goes out the window. This is the biggest stage you can play on, the biggest world stage. It's a semi-final, it's a crunch match, and it'll be just interesting for me to see how England handle that pressure if they come out and play with the safe freedom. Look, I'm sure that's the plan, but it's one thing having that plan and another thing trying to do it. And obviously from Pakistan's point of view, they'll be looking to get early wickets. So I'm really looking forward to the start of this game.
Really looking forward to the start of this game, as is the entire cricketing fraternity, aren't they? The time for talking, the time for discussion and analysis is over. We're just minutes away from the start of the first semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. A quick programming reminder before we leave you. Chris Harris will be back at the innings break as well as at the end of the match. Chris, we look forward to seeing how this match pans out.
Thank you.
That's all.